This is Rielly from my company, The Mystic Taxi, a Feng Shui and decorating company. And I am a Feng Shui practitioner, decorator in Kingston. This is my second video about 162 Division Street, a building which I really love. And I would love to see it taken care of and to see it inhabited again by an exciting company, to see the space grow and evolve. So my last video was a basic Feng Shui assessment. It was mainly for the seller, but there were lots of things that I said that would be applicable to a buyer also. So I just talked about the Feng Shui and the main points in that. First of all, the most important thing, I would do it if I was the seller, and that is to put 2 strong doorways off of the parking lot, and one of them could be a double door, and I'd want these to lead to corridors that would reach the operational space within the building. Talk about a lot of things. The space outside of the door in the parking lot. Also, I talk about how important the facade is for getting people's attention. A sandwich board might be good. Anyway, just general things. It would be nice to walk in and to see a beautiful space. So the challenge that I set myself was that I wanted to create an interior that you could do low cost and it would be as beautiful as possible, wherein the owner could do the renovation, create a lot of beauty for a relatively inexpensive cost. This structure has a concrete floor, a lot of holes. The floor has been stripped. They did a lot of work just stripping things down, which is really commendable. So I figured the best thing to do is to put plywood down and install marmoleum, which is my favorite flooring of all time. That would be advantageous in a few ways. Marmoleum is really quick to install. The whole thing might be done probably within a week. You would have to install 2 layers of plywood in order to ensure that the flooring was level. It has to be installed by professionals that have done marmoleum before. It needs a 100-pound roller, and it has a time-sensitive window in which it hasn't completely dried, in which you have to adhere it to the substrate. If you've come across any linoleum floors in your travels, linoleum used to be made exactly the same way marmoleum is. It's with beeswax and linseed oil and sawdust and a lot of natural ingredients. And it lasts for a very long time. My grandmother had a linoleum floor, and it was so durable. It had been there for so long. It's waterproof. It's perfect for industrial kitchens, good for bathrooms, and it is gorgeous. And it isn't as hard as concrete, so it would be easier on your joints. If you were walking up and down on it all the time, it's kind of soft and pleasant to walk on. It's really beautiful too, and it's one of the most beautiful floorings I could ever think of. Plus, it smells amazing, and it releases negative ions into the air because of the beeswax, and it's just beautiful. So it lasts forever and it smells great. And so this beautiful flooring surface is cheaper than ceramic tiles and it's fairly quick. The flooring company that a client of mine has used before on a job that I was advising for is called Action Flooring. They were extremely good. The floor looked amazing when it was done. The color that I would recommend is called Asteroid. It would elevate the space. It's an interesting pattern. Pairing works so well. I chose a color of paint that would blend into the marmoleum so that it creates this optical illusion of an endless space. I was thinking for the walls, you want to make it look beautiful. I would finish them up with some insulation and drywall, and then I would paint it out to be the same color as the floor so that it would create optical illusion, feeling of like a never-ending horizon. Beautiful device to use. I would address the stone, the exposed brick on the first floor. First, I would just take a wire brush to it and then vacuum it. And then I would take some vinegar and water and scrub it down. And then I would put some lime wash on it, which is a beautiful product. It's a paint. what I would do is create an effect so that it looks like aged paint. The good thing about lime wash is that it creates this sort of old-timey effect or this worn effect, but it has a pH that's really high, and that makes it inhospitable to mold, and it allows the rock to breathe. It doesn't seal the rock, which is really good because it means that moisture won't get trapped inside of the rock. The longevity of the wall would be extended, would mean that the moisture would evaporate from the surface of the wall. I would really only do lime wash on the walls on the first floor. The second floor, the walls are gorgeous, so I would just keep those the way that they are, and that saves you a little bit of trouble. This sketch that I did gives you a feeling of how gorgeous the space could be. It can be elevated, and it looks cavernous with the exposed brick, and the ceiling is very exciting, and it would really be a gorgeous space. This neutral color and beautiful color scheme is probably the one that I would recommend to anyone. Totally neutral, but it's a little tiny bit lime, and it's a vibrant color. The other runner-up, titanium, the thing about that is there's no pattern on the floor. It's completely flat. And the room, if it was painted the same color, would feel like you were kind of lost in space, which is a nice, I think, effect. I think it's a good effect. Asteroid is just a little more exciting. It's just a little more visually exciting to look at the pattern. It's a toss-up. High traffic area. I could see why you wouldn't want just a plain flat. It's a little easier looking clean if it's got a little bit of a pattern to it. So that's another thing. I don't think you can go wrong with the titanium. The flat titanium, it's beautiful, and I think it would have a beautiful effect, but I think when it comes right down to it, I would choose asteroid. And what I would want to do is take the samples into this space. This space has a lot of gifts in it. But anyway, I hope that everyone enjoyed this video. As I said before, I wish everyone the best of luck. I hope this property gets sold soon, and if anyone else has a property that they'd like me to do a reading for, I do on-demand feng shui assessments with recommendations for $100. And I hope that all of you have a great evening, and I'll talk to you later.